So the brute force way of approaching this question is you take this first equation and you isolate. Now in this approach, I'm not looking for any patterns. I'm just simply doing the grunt work, which is you take this A, substitute that into the second equation, and you simplify it as much as you can. And we'll also substitute A here and then see how this equation that we end up with relates to that expression. So in this, when I'm doing this under exam conditions, I'm not really looking for patterns, which of course, something you should be looking for. But when you make that decision of doing it under just brute force, then that's not how your brain is operating, at least not mine. So here we divide by 13. You'll see there are definitely patterns, and I'll go over that in the next part of this video. And then what we do here is we also substitute A in terms of B and C. And we'll distribute that. Of course, there's a pattern here because this is really what that expression is. But when I was originally doing this, this is not how I was thinking. I was just saying, let me simplify the expression and minus 15c. And then at this stage, you can say that it's 15 times b minus c, and b minus c is 2/3. We substitute that. So this is kind of the brute force approach. So that becomes 10 plus 8, 18, which will give you the answer, and you're not really looking for patterns. Now, of course, it's better if you can see the pattern immediately, and that pattern is that if we take that first equation and factor a 6 here from the second two terms, this is our first equation, and the second one, if we factor out a 3, so it's really a system of linear equations with two variables. One is A and the other one is B minus C. So we can just solve this by elimination. I can double this. So that's 12A plus 6 times B minus C. So this is the easier approach. And I did not see that immediately in the exam. And so we get 13A. This drops out, 104. A is 8. And I can plug that back in here. 8 minus 6 times B minus C is 4. That's 4. That's 6B minus C. And then here, I know A is 8, and then we have 3 times B minus C. And here, 3 times B minus C would be, if you divide both sides by 2, is 2. So that's 2. 16 plus 2 is 18. So the answer is 18. Now, it's, of course, easier to see after the fact, but the reality is when you see this question in the exam, you're seeing all these equations, and it's easy to kind of get confused. And I think I made the decision that I'll just simply substitute and do the grunt work, and that did give me the answer. So that's a choice you have to make in the exam. If you can immediately see the pattern, I mean, that's, of course, the most efficient way. So these are the two methods. I'm sure there are other ways to approach this question as well. The answer is C.